Good morning, Mets fans, and welcome to a Tuesday edition of Driving with Mr. Met. I am Mr. Met, and it's been a few days since I've recorded a video, and the Mets, as I suspected they might, crawled back into relevance, however so briefly over the weekend, taking 2 out of 3 from the Phillies in Philadelphia, and yesterday starting out a 3-game set with the Nationals with a road victory. So far on this trip, 3 out of 4 rather, 3 wins, 1 loss. I'm going to talk about that on today's show and get us ready for tonight's face-off between 2 amazing pitchers, Jacob deGrom and Max Scherzer. Coming off of what was his worst start in his entire career, Noah Syndergaard last night was right back to the dominant self he had been up until that Cubs start. Really, yesterday afternoon, Syndergaard was brilliant against the Nationals, kept them off the board for the entire game. The Mets bats did everything they needed to do against Joe Ross, and it was a 7-3 final. Should have been 7-0. That was the score heading into the 9th when Tyler Bachelor continued his second inning of work and was unable to put the Nationals away unscathed. But regardless, the Mets take a victory, 7-3. A lot of positives to take from yesterday's game, but the big one again is Noah Syndergaard. The fact that he's able to just sort of brush off what happened against the Cubs, come out against another really, really good offense. You could probably argue that behind the Braves and the Dodgers, the Nationals might have the third best offense in the National League. And Syndergaard dominated them and made them look weak. So good for Noah, good pickup and a good win to kick off the series. Over the weekend, as I said before in the opener, the Mets did take 2 out of 3 from the Phillies in Philadelphia. And last week I just sort of said, this team has surprised us all before, and they're going to go on this road trip and they're going to win 6 games. And I was wrong. They're not going to win all 6, obviously. But, I mean, hey, if they go 4-2 on this road trip, that's pretty damn good. And the math behind it says that if they win 2 out of 3 from here on out in every series, which, again, tall task, but just hear me out. If they win 2 out of 3, they're at 87 wins. Now, is that enough to get into the playoffs? Probably not, but it's a respectable season. And so, if they can take 2 out of 3 from the Nationals, that would be brilliant. Tonight's going to be a challenge because while the Mets have deGrom going, we all know how the offense loves to score for Jake against mediocre pitching. And they are facing off against Max Scherzer tonight, who is anything but mediocre. So it'll be a pitcher's duel tonight, hopefully, and should be a quick game because both guys work fast, both guys throw strikes, and it should be a fun, classic pitcher's duel to watch. So I'm looking forward to that this evening. To go back to the Phillies series, I want to point out a few things. One, Zach Wheeler was great. His best start in a while on Saturday. Steven Matz was really good before that on Friday night. And then on Sunday, despite the loss, Marcus Stroman collected his first quality start as a Met. So he struggled through the first couple of innings, did Stroman, but he got stronger as the game went on. He did what he had to do. He kept the Phillies to 2 runs, and that ultimately was not a lead that the Mets could surpass. Sunday night they tied the game and would go on to lose it. Mickey Callaway making some questionable decisions in that game, as Mickey is wont to do every now and then. And I want to talk about the one that stuck out to me, and it's not Daniel Zamora. I actually tweeted in the moment, going to Daniel Zamora against Bryce Harper while Justin Wilson is still available is mind-numbingly stupid. And it turned out that I didn't realize it, and I mean, ESPN broadcast doesn't realize anything; they just talk. The Justin Wilson wasn't available, so that I can give him a pass on going to Zamora. Also, Zamora had faced Harper 4 times in the past, and Harper was 0 for 4 against him. So I'll give Mickey the pass there. I can't even get on him for going to Familia after Zamora let Harper get on base. Familia has to stop walking guys. The pitch that killed Familia was was not the sequence that killed Familia was not the one that he gave up that bases clearing double to Scott Kingery on. In fact, he made one of his better pitches of the inning against Kingery in that at bat. It was the previous 2 at bats where he walked batters. You can't do it. You cannot walk guys, and free passes are a no-no. And that's the thing that Familia has to fix: his inability to find the strike zone. So, forgetting about that, I wanted to focus on something else in Sunday night's game, and it was the decision to bunt with Luis Guillorme. So, the Mets have runners on first and second with nobody out in the top of the 8th inning. By the way, welcome back, Brandon Nimmo. What a breath of fresh air Brandon Nimmo is, and what just a delight. I forgot how delightful he was to watch. His just effervescence, the smile that he has on his face all the time. Like, you could tell that when he came back, he missed it. He missed playing baseball in the major leagues. And it's great to have him back. His energy is terrific. And, of course, he was thrust right into the middle of things in the top of the 8th inning. A typical Nimmo at-bat. He had a nice game yesterday as well. But back to that 8th inning in Philly. Mets get first and second. And Mickey has J.D. Davis in the on-deck circle to pinch hit. And once the second runner gets on, and once it is first and second, he pulls Davis back, and he goes to Luis Guillorme instead. And to Guillorme's credit, something that we never see the Mets do, Guillorme gets down a really nice sacrifice bunt. Perfect sacrifice bunt. Nothing wrong with the execution of the play. I just don't like the call of the play. And I generally dislike bunting, period. I'm not a fan of bunting. I don't like that it's a free out for the opposition. And when your offense scuffles the way that the Mets offense has seemed to scuffle every now and then, I don't want to take the chance of giving up a free out and getting it that much closer to having the other team be out of the inning. So I did take exception to the fact that Callaway decided to bunt there. We all know what happened. The Mets did not get the big hit. They did tie the game, but only on a wild pitch. So, the run scores on the wild pitch. And that was after McNeil had a bad at bat, grounded the ball to second base. Davis was breaking on contact. The throw to the plate was in time. Davis was out. Joe West fell on top of him. It was a GIF-worthy moment for sure, but not a good moment for the Mets in that inning. When you go back and you rewind it and you want to be able to redo it, of course, hindsight is 20/20. And look, if McNeil gets the job done, it's another story, right? McNeil gets a base hit like he normally does. 2 runs score. The inning continues. You got McNeil on first with Alonso up. It could be a big inning, all right? So I can't completely blame Mickey for calling that play, because he does have the top of the lineup due up. He does have his best batters due up. But it's still a free out. You still went with Guillorme over J.D. Davis, and you're playing on the road, right? You're in a road series in the opposing ballpark. The other team gets to bat after you no matter what happens. You got to go for more than 1 run. You got to play for more than the tie, and that's why I didn't like the bunt. So I can't completely blame Mickey, because it is a play that a lot of managers would go to, and if his players execute properly, and it's something I've said multiple times about both Mickey and Terry Collins, if players execute and they do their jobs, we're not complaining about Mickey's decision-making. Right? You only complain about the decision-making process when the players don't do the job properly, and that's what it comes down to. So that's going to wrap it up for today. I don't have much else to say about the weekend set, other than that it was a good 2 out of 3 games taken by the Mets. By the way, the Phillies are not that impressive. I have to say, their bullpen is really trash, and I understand they have a lot of guys missing, but outside of Aaron Nola, they're a very beatable team, and the Mets play them again, and they play them at home. So I'll be interested to see what happens in that 3-game set next week. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's focus tonight on the Nationals and what should be a classic pitcher's duel between DeGrom and Scherzer. And now, because I've said that like 4 times on this show, I feel like I'm Gary jinxing this, and we're going to end up with like a 14-13 slugfest or something. But whatever, we'll see. And I'll talk about it tomorrow no matter what happens. So until then, thank you for watching. I appreciate it. You can follow me on Twitter at Mr._Met. And as always, Let's go, Mets.